This is the download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news in the business of podcasting, brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Gavin Gaddis. Here's what you need to know for today, Tuesday, January 14th. Before I get into the first story, just a quick heads up. This is your last call to register for the Business Podcast Consumer. Tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tom Webster will be giving a half-hour presentation of the Business Podcast Consumer, a new report from Sounds Profitable and American Public Media. Registration is free, so go grab your virtual seat now. Link in the description. Now for the first story on the subject of webinars, why ad-free is lazy, the case for podcast ads. Wednesday, February 5th at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Right Side Up and Sounds Profitable will present an hour-long look into the myths of ad-free podcasting and why ads are a vital part of the podcast ecosystem for both creators and audiences. Planned topics include the value of baked-in ads, examples of thoughtful podcast ads driving listeners' trust, and practical strategies for sustaining podcast growth through advertising. Registration, as before, is free. Next up, new LAX ad campaign promotes podcasts and audio advertising. Direct response marketing firm Radioactive Media, cute name, has been running an ad campaign in Los Angeles International Airport, LAX, that sells the concept of podcast advertising rather than a specific show. The 2-week campaign started on January 6th and runs through the 19th, featuring posters with slogans like "Imagine Stern or Rogan talking about your brand." Promoting the fact podcasting is a good advertising venue is a step forward for the industry. Audiences commonly see billboards touting the fact billboards are an effective advertising method without issue. The same can be true for ads for podcasts. Up next, what 2025 has in store for influencer marketing, according to experts. A piece covering broad trends anticipated for influencer marketing in the new year, including one that continues from previous years, influencers building their brands and platforms beyond where they started. Industry experts tell Marketing Brew influencers have been growing their businesses beyond the static and video posts on social platforms where they built that original following. And a popular first step into the wider world of launching products and brands is starting a podcast. Finally, more than half of publishers reported revenue increases in 2024. Digiday Research surveyed 50 publisher professionals for their Q4 2024 survey, which found revenues were up last year despite not extending to the media industry overall. 58% of respondents say their revenue went up last year, higher than 2023, and only 28% reported their revenue down year over year. 54% of respondents grew their ad offerings throughout the year, while 6% scaled back, according to their company. As for the rest of the news, iHeartMedia and Deep Blue's Women's Sports Network is to add 8 new shows to the roster this year. The BBC has announced Uncanny Postmortem, a visualized podcast version of Radio 4's Uncanny, which was adapted to TV last year. BBC World Service and the CBC have partnered to launch a new true crime podcast, The Con, Caitlin's Baby, and health gurus Ella Mills and Rhiannon Lambert have launched a new podcast on Adalicious, dubbed The Wellness Scoop. Be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The download is written and produced by myself, Newton Shottelcotti, Brian Barletta, and Tom Webster. This episode is hosted on Spreaker. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis. Download us again tomorrow.